Here we are at Blackmore Orchard, the place where the best apples can be found. There are many pickers who make sure they pick the best apples just for you. Some of the apples go to supermarkets, and the ones that are too big or too small go to juice companies like Mr Whitehead's to make your apple juice. The pickers spend all day filling up their containers and putting it in the back of tractors like this. They get washed and sorted and then get delivered to the correct place. Here are the apples that have just been delivered to make your apple juice. Watch carefully as you are now about to find out how Mr Whitehead's apple juice is made. First, they get taken to the conveyor belt. The apples are very heavy, so a machine has to be used to lift them. The crate is brought up and the apples roll out onto the belt. This is when they get washed for a second time to make sure they are at their very best quality. The apples are then milled into a chunky pulp, which is then put into the press. The fruit is pressed so that the juice is separated and drips down into the container below. The dry pulp that remains is removed and taken to a farm to feed cows. The remaining juice is left to settle overnight to make sure it's clear and then moved into another tank in the morning. It also has vitamin C added to it, which stops it turning dark. It's time for them to get bottled. Here are the bottles which you might have seen at your school. They get moved along through the machine where they get filled with Mr Whitehead's apple juice. A lid then gets placed on the top of them. They then need to go through a process called pasteurizing. They are put into very hot water, 74 degrees Celsius, for 25 minutes. It gets rid of all the natural yeasts in the juice, which would otherwise cause it to ferment and go bad in just a couple of days. Once it has been pasteurized, it will keep for up to 6 months. Each bottle then gets a heat-sealed lid, a date stamp and a label. All the apple juice gets collected, sealed into packs of 24 and is then delivered to local schools.